Hello and welcome to Cutting Edge. I'm Alex Drury.
And I'm Samantha Bailey. In today's news, Mums United, a community group fighting against crime.
A council policy causing a decline in taxi drivers around Sheffield city centre.
And finally, a story on how the Sheffield Steelers Hockey Club are breaking their attendance records. Hello and welcome to Cutting Edge. I'm Samantha Bailey.
And I'm Alex Drury. Today's top story. A group of mothers have joined together to tackle gang-related crime in Sheffield.
8 people died from stabbings in the city last year, and there were almost 1,000 knife offences across South Yorkshire.
Now an organisation called Mums United has been set up to tackle the problem.
They meet in a city mosque to hold workshops to steer young people away from knife crime. I went to find out more.
So for the parents, there's a parental control.
Mums United hold a series of activities and workshops to keep young people away from knife crime, exploitation and street gangs. They do this by educating them in a way that is interactive and engaging.
Every time when we ask the kids what they need, a lot of networking stuff, because as you know, this day and age, everything's online. So how to be safe, self-defense, how to stay away from knives, how to stay away from gangs, drugs, actually educating them class A, class B, class C, letting them know, even with the mothers. It's not just the kids, we're trying to educate the mothers as well.
Guest speakers like Quentin Green know all about the dangers of knife crime and how it feels to come from an adverse background where he'd been exposed to street crime from a very young age.
We were fighting and he ended up getting out a knife and kind of stabbed me in my back, stabbed me in my arm a few times, stabbed me in my stomach.
He now uses his first-hand experiences and his passion for public speaking and music to warn other young people not to make the same mistakes, as he contributes to finding a solution for this growing problem.
Have you ever stopped to ask that boy that carries a knife what he wants to do when he's older? If his parents are still together, who his role models are?
It's all about communities interlinking. Even from London to Leicester, it's a national problem, so there needs to be a national solution.
Police have staged a series of knife amnesties to try and get illegal blades off the streets, but knife crime has almost doubled in South Yorkshire since 2010, the biggest rise outside of London. There were 8 fatal stabbings in Sheffield last year. This rise in crime has been the catalyst for Mums United.
For all our own individual reasons, we decided we wanted to join together to try to start influencing our local communities to prevent and deal with the consequences of violent crime, gangs. And so we came together and we've shaped a programme of mentoring and support.
I mean, I've seen a lot, but I've chosen not to speak about it. But that's one of the reasons why I'm supporting this program. But if I can help, directly with people who, want our help, then I'm here.
The group has just come to the end of its 8-week programme. The mothers are hoping the latest wave of graduates will now be safer out on the streets and will continue to make a positive difference within their community. Samantha Bailey, reporting for Cutting Edge.
Lovely to see a community coming together for such a good cause. Now, taxi operators in Sheffield are claiming hundreds of drivers are quitting the job because of the council's clean air policy.
The government is encouraging more drivers to switch to electric cabs and are also considering a city centre tax on petrol and diesel cars.
But many cabbies claim they cannot afford the electric vehicles, which can cost around £60,000.
Olivia Blanchard has this report.
Business is brisk for the taxi drivers at Sheffield Station, but the council wants to create a clean air zone here in the city centre. And that means £10 charges for taxis entering, unless they have electric cars. Cabbies are upset.
I've got the old cab, but I know the new cab is better than this, but the problem is it's too expensive. I think council helping people to buy that cab, then it'll be alright.
They'll charge me £10 and it's not going to make that any cleaner, and by me I'll have to put that £10 onto somebody else.
The electric cars, electric taxis, they are about £60,000. Who can afford that?
Taxi groups say over 100 cabbies have handed in their licences and quit the job. They want the council to help them pay for the new electric taxis. People working close to the taxi rank say they face a cloud of fumes.
They are ticking over all day, non-stop, so it can't be good for the environment at all. They shouldn't be on road, they're smoking like you would believe. So they should have a £10, but that'll mess up. They for these will not be able to do it, will they?
Council wants the city's taxis to convert to electric within 3 years. The clean air zone could be introduced before that. Sheffield Council says it needs to act to bring down the city's illegal pollution levels.
I'd consider this a success if we don't collect a single £10 note on introduction. If everybody's got a nice clean car, then there'll be no need to, and ultimately that's where we're trying to get at, so we definitely don't want to see it as a cash cow.
Taxi associations are waiting to see if they can get any help to buy the greener cabs. Meanwhile, they say one driver every 3 days quits, with the uncertainty driving cabbies away from the job. Olivia Blanchard for Cutting Edge.
Now here in the studio we're joined by Richard Souter, a Friends of the Earth campaigner here in Sheffield. Hello Richard, tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, hello Alex, hello Sam. I'm a campaigner with Friends of the Earth, and I'm holding up here the Climate Action Plan for councils that Sheffield Friends of the Earth are promoting, and all Friends of the Earth groups are promoting throughout the country. I have lived in Sheffield for over 30 years. I've been primarily a teacher but retired now, and most of my activity since I've been retired is volunteering for Sheffield Friends of the Earth, trying to do something for the climate and the environment.
So Richard, the Clean Air Zone proposal in Sheffield seems to be good for combating pollution in the city. What's your opinion about it?
Yes, I think it will be good for combating pollution in the city. We're talking about trying to exclude high polluting vehicles, or charge rather high polluting vehicles, diesel and petrol vehicles, so that drivers will think about whether they should convert to cleaner vehicles, for instance low emissions or electric vehicles. In that way, we think that the charge, some people might feel is discriminatory, but we're looking at trying to encourage people to think about pollution and trying to sort of lower those levels of pollution in the city.
So obviously this policy won't completely abolish the high levels of pollution in Sheffield. So what is it that other campaigners like you and other people from Friends of the Earth can do?
Well, I think everybody's got a responsibility, not just campaigners, to have a look at what they can do. And one of the things that everybody's trying to encourage at the moment, including the Sheffield City region, is things like active travel, trying to encourage people out of their cars to do more walking, more cycling, and travelling by bus. People will say, I can't travel by bus because that's not really an option for me. And I would say that's a fair answer, because we need to vastly improve the bus service in Sheffield and throughout South Yorkshire, so that people have got a real choice in making buses.
And this is already one policy. Is there any more that you'd like to see implemented in the future?
In terms of combating emissions throughout the city, there are things like we have to acknowledge the pollution that comes from factories and the pollution that comes from homes, from just turning on the heating and burning gas boilers. So we need to think about a policy, which has to be a nationwide policy as well, where homes are being converted from, for instance, gas burning boilers to air source heat pumps, and encouraging greater insulation in homes so that people don't have to burn so much fuel. And all of those things will start to cut down emissions.
And finally, what is it that we can encourage our viewers today to do their bit towards helping the environment?
Well, again, the things that I've said are about, think about using the car, see if you can get on a bus, see if you can walk or cycle. All of these things are good. Think about whether you need a gas boiler. I know it costs more money at the moment to have things like air source heat pumps, but greater insulation in your home as well. There are some grant schemes out there, pursue those grant schemes. And also talk to your councillors, write to your councillors and say we need these measures implemented in our city. Can you get a move on, please?
That's great. Thank you so much for coming out to speak to us today.
Something
And that's,
to think about.
yeah, something we can all keep in mind.
Okay, thank you very
for
much.
coming along. Now, smoking is a dying trait, and last month Sheffield Council introduced a policy reflecting that.
That's right, a ban on smoking in and around council grounds has been hailed a success, and talk has now turned about what this means for the future. I went along to find out more.
Smoking is a habit that just won't go away. Over 7 million adults in the UK are smokers, but you won't find any of those outside Sheffield Town Hall after a ban on smoking near council grounds. Councillor Mary Lee was a key figure behind the ban.
It's all part of our strategy to reduce smoking in the city and to put in interventions where we can. So we spend about £1 million a year on smoking cessation interventions for people in Sheffield. We work with all our partners in the health service and in tobacco control to ensure that the aim is to reduce the number of people smoking and to safeguard people. And one of the things that we decided to do was to look at ourselves. We've been very, very successful in reducing the number of people smoking in the city over the last 12 months. The figures coming back are, I haven't got the figures with me at the moment, but you can get them off the website, are that people in Sheffield are reducing, we are reducing the number of smokers in Sheffield from the measures that we're taking.
And the figures prove the Smoke Free initiative has worked. 17% of adults in Sheffield smoked in 2017, with this dropping to 12.5% the following year, below the national average. After this success, talk can now turn to similar stricter policies in other places, such as universities.
So if universities were to implement like a smoking ban, I think it would cause a lot of issues for students. I think probably the best way of doing it is to like implicate some sort of thing of where people can get over addiction.
It wouldn't really affect me that much because I don't smoke often, but I think that it could affect other people because some people, like if they're doing work, they like a cigarette as a break or whatever.
I mean, I guess I would just have to go like further afield, but it would be quite difficult for like when you wanted to take a break when you're studying.
So how long will it be before we see smoking as a habit stubbed out? Alex Drury for Cutting Edge.
So, joining us now is Rovamil Dato. He's a nurse and occasional smoker. So, Rovamil, could you tell us a little bit about the first-hand effects of smoking from your experience?
Yeah, smoking helped me to relieve stress. I only smoke when it is available, actually. And normally I don't buy cigarettes because if there is always available, I'm always tempted to smoke. Most of the patients that I have seen which are heavy smokers, they always got problems on their breathing. They are prone to have health problems in the circulatory systems, such as stroke, peripheral vascular disease, etc.
And Rovamil, as a habit, do you think it's going to die out anytime soon?
Yes, if it's not available to have it, I think it will stop.
It's interesting that you should say that. Do you think that smoking should be banned not only outside of the council buildings, but in the whole of the UK?
In my opinion, anything that affects your health and which is not good to your body, I think it should be banned because some people cannot resist temptation. They want to smoke if they're still available to acquire it.
Thanks for that, Rovamil. Now, in other news, Sheffield's High Street faces increasing struggles as more shops close.
And online shopping is becoming more convenient than ever to the detriment of high street stores.
Isaac Dennis has more.
High Street in decline. Despite the bustling busy centre, the High Street is facing a crisis. Around 16 shops a day are closing in Britain, with recorded shop closures at 1,234 at the beginning of 2019 alone. Many are blaming a rise in online shopping, others blame rent and government taxing. I asked shop owners for their thoughts on what they believe can be done to help.
It's the pricing that everybody's like competing over. Like if you're storing your stuff in a warehouse,
it's going to be much cheaper than paying the rates and the rent to be on the high street, and you've not got the same overheads, so they're competing against like two completely different kinds of business. So the best thing you can do for like a business on the high street or a shop is improve your customer service and your customer experience of like coming in store. I think that's the only thing they can do, really.
Despite government efforts, many shop doors are still closed, with many left in total disarray, dissuading many potential buyers and leaving many parts of the high street derelict. I asked the shop owner at Sidden Mallory's why she thought shops in Sheffield were closing.
I don't think people are spending as much as they used to. The economy is not great, and the economy works by people like us buying things, not by big business being taxed.
However, some shoppers had other beliefs as to why shops may be struggling.
Yeah, it's a lot colder now, so coming into town to shop for things is a lot more difficult, whereas at home it's nice and warm and you can pick from the comfort of your own home.
This has been Isaac Dennis, reporting for Cutting Edge.
On a lighter note, Sheffield Steelers have been breaking attendance records in ice hockey's top division.
Jamil Data went along to find out firsthand from the coaches and fans where this surge in attendance has come from.
For the past 4 years, the Sheffield Steelers have had the highest attendance rate in the UK's top-flight ice hockey league. And with the passion that the fans have for the club, these attendance rates comes as to no surprise.
You can bring the whole family. It's always a good evening, whether they win or whether they lose.
However, a questionable performance last season saw the team finish 7th in the league, which is unheard of for the club. Despite this lacklustre performance, the club's attendance rates continue to rise.
If you look at last year, they do a European standing in the teams that are supported, and Sheffield came in the top 30 or something, and it was the highest based British club. So it always has been probably one of the biggest.
With a club attendance record of over 7,500, the Steelers are projected to break this record within the season.
Oh, it's amazing. Obviously, whenever we play at home, having the fans here and the numbers they do and the noise they bring, it gives you that extra lift, it gives you that extra step in the game, and I love playing in front of these fans.
The season begins with a new head coach that intends to turn things around for the Steelers, hopefully giving the passionate fans what they deserve. This is Jamil Datto for Cutting Edge.
It's heartwarming to see the passion that the fans of the club have, despite hard times.
Certainly is. Well, that's all we have time for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Cutting Edge. Join us again soon when another group of Hallam students will bring you the weekly Sheffield news.
I've been Samantha Bailey.
And I've been Alex Drury. Goodbye.
Goodbye.